Hey, it's Game Hydro. We're doing another video about ACECRAFT Sky Heroes. We're going to talk about which pilots are the best pilots in the game. We're going to make a tier list of them, and we're going to tell you exactly why. Now, you got 10 total pilots in this game, so none of them are explicitly the worst pilot, but there's definitely a best pilot or a best pair of pilots. It's probably going to surprise you a little bit about who it is. Now, we'd be remiss if we didn't start the conversation with Echo, since, of course, he is the beginning pilot of the game. So, to be quite, he's an A tier, A grade pilot. So there's six A grades, and 4 S grades. Now, to be honest, the beginning stats of all of your A grade and S grade pilots, they're really not that different from one another. The S grades obviously are a little more than the A grades, so that's something to keep in mind. There's going to be a little bit of a stat difference depending on the experience level, but that's not enough to really make the entire difference here. We're going to go with skills. We're going to take a look at those. So Echo, we're going to look at his ultimate skill. Now, his ultimate skill, as you've probably seen, essentially drops a giant bomb that damages all enemies and clears all projectiles. It's not a bad one. It's not the best one. It's not a bad one. Main cannon, it's a main cannon. That's pretty much all there is to it. Lots of characters have cannons that shoot forward. His is a cannon that shoots forward. One of the few different things about it is that it can be powered up to increase the number of shots that it fires. So the overall trajectory of it gets a little wider, but there's nothing complicated or anything about it. It's simple. Next, you got the stunt. This one I find there to be a pretty good size advantage in, especially for newer players, but kind of really for anybody that likes it, because it homes in on enemies and automatically aims at them. So you don't really have to put yourself in extra harm's way after you suck in shots with the Spitfire. And then the support one, he supports with Amelia, or whatever her name is, Thunderfield. She comes in, shoots Thunderfields and Thunder Traps. So Echo overall, nothing really stands out here, but nothing really stands out as bad either. So I'm going to put Echo at B tier. He's pretty good. Even after you have some other pilots, he's still pretty good. Next up, we're going to go Iron Arm. Iron Arm is a little more advanced, one of the more advanced characters in the game for reasons involving his attacks being a little bit unconventional. So the ultimate, he turns into a tornado for 3 seconds, dealing damage to nearby enemies and clearing projectiles in contact every 0.3 seconds. So you can move around while you're the tornado. And this one is excellent if you're fighting a boss, because you can simply just sit on top of the boss and do damage over and over. So that's a really good ultimate. The main cannon, Iron Arm, claps his wing hands and creates a little brief tornado thing, gust of wind. Now, it's strange to have a character that has a melee attack in an overhead shooter game, but this attack is extraordinarily useful because of the splash damage that it does. It deals a little more damage with upgrades and also has a longer forward range for upgrades. So, yeah, you're going to have to avoid some more shots sometimes, but you're going to be able to blast through enemies a lot quicker and get the time finish star sometimes. Stunt. This is maybe my favorite stunt. So the tidal sweep allows him to perform a swing attack that just does ridiculous amounts of damage, including more of it for each pink projectile. Now, when you ascend to Iron Arm, you can also launch a massive anchor forward, but the main stunt is the swinging the anchor in circles around him. Also a great one to use against bosses. Just make sure to avoid the shots. And then support is with Scott. And on this one, Scott will come and shoot a bunch of maces everywhere. which split into multiple explosive projectiles. Pretty strong. Yeah, a little more advanced type of dude. I'm going to give him an A- tier, though, because I really like the potential for splash damage and for super heavy amounts of boss damage. Next up, we got Scott the dog. Scotty the dog. Get it? So his ultimate is the mace. Swings a huge spiked ball, clears projectiles, throws it to create an explosion that clears projectiles again and deals damage. All right, so you got double projectile clearing there. Not bad. Main cannon fires a little slower than some of the other main cannons, but explodes and deals splash damage. That's kind of cool. Area of effect damage out of the main cannon. Yeah, I'll take that. The stunt throws fish cans at enemy positions that deal splash damage. So this one, as you can see, automatically aims at enemies, which I like. Plus, the area of effect damage, that's a nice extra bonus. Support, Fearless Storm, Iron Arm creates multiple tornadoes. Each tornado deals a lot of damage. All right. I'm giving Scott an A tier because of all the splash damage and all the range. And so basically you're combining the ease of use of Echo with the splash damage potential of Iron Arm. So I can't really see any downside to Scott, if I'm being honest. A tier. Scott is very, very good. Next up, we're going to go Ryan. So Ryan, the shy beaver dude. Let's see what the ultimate is. Clears all projectiles from the screen and summons a bouncy ball that randomly launches either upper left or upper right. Bounces around. Clears projectiles in its path. Obviously does damage. That one is pretty good. I don't like that. Don't necessarily like that it randomly bounces in directions, but this is yeah. Not my favorite of the ultimates, but not the worst. The main cannon, it just fires projectiles forward. Nothing to write about there. The stunt.
Dad, can you
Give me 10 minutes, buddy. Rapidly fires seeds in a straight line. I don't really care for this stunt at all because not only do you have to aim it, but there's no big splashy attack here. Yeah, it's maybe good against bosses, but it really, per seed, it only does about the same amount of damage as the cannon, if that. So that's kind of mediocre. Support. Drill Rush. Joey charges forward with 2 drills, dealing an absolutely stupid amount of damage. Okay, so that support skill is pretty good, but that's reliant on you having Joey. I don't care. I'm not impressed with Ryan. I'm going B- tier. All right, next up we have Joey, Speak of the Devil. That's the first S tier type. S grade type, not to be confused with S tier type, because I'm the one that's making the tier list here, not the game. Speaking of which, if you want to track what the tier levels are and what the characters are, please grab a pen and paper. That's the easiest way to do so. As you can see, the base stats for S grades are higher all the way around, but there's not like tanks, DPSs, support types here. It just kind of varies a little bit. And it mostly depends on the equipment you have, upgrade level, and things like that. So, ultimate skill, the transforms into a giant drill, clearing projectiles and damaging enemies. And each drill power stack allows an extra charge. Using 3 stacks, summons 4 penetrating high-speed drills. That's a pretty good one. Main cannon, this is probably my favorite main cannon yet. The main cannon shoots in 3 different directions at a time. Upward, up diagonal to the left, and up diagonal to the right. This gives you a big advantage from the get-go, lets you do splash damage. This is the best main cannon so far. I like it. The stunt, swallow, shoots drills. Swallow pink shots, shoots drills. So they don't automatically aim, but that's okay because they have penetration, which is certainly useful. especially against large mobs. Passive, Soul of Drills. After dealing damage 9 times with the high-speed drill, which is this. No. Whatever. After dealing damage 9 times with the high-speed drill, Joey gains 1 stack of drill power. Drill power will be used to enhance the ultimate when it is cast. So we went over that with the ultimate, which is that, which is that drill power allows an extra charge, and 3 stacks summons 4 penetrating high-speed drills. All right, Joey is pretty good. The main cannon puts me over the top here. I'm giving Homeboy an S tier. Next up, we got Elsa. Do you want to build a snowman? No, not that Elsa. So let's see what her skills look like. Her stats are really high. All right, Ultimate, Wild Symphony. Summons 2 machine guns that crossfire for 6 seconds, fanning flame projectiles back and forth. Obviously clears projectiles and deals damage. All right, this one, the fact that it lasts for 6 seconds, I'm really in on. That lasts quite a while. So that is one of the better ultimate skills to me for sure. Main cannon. It's a cannon that fires forward. Yay. Stunt. Swallows the pink things and shoots pink hearts that penetrate through enemies. So you got a little bit of splash damage projectiles here, which is good. Only 1 penetration, though. It's not infinite penetration like with the drills. So not quite as good as the drills, but that's whatever. Passive. 10 fire powers for every pink projectile absorbed. When fire powers reach 100, she fires 2 crossing flanking projectiles for 15 seconds, then clears all firepower. Will not gain firepower while flanking projectiles are active. All right, that's pretty legit, though. Nothing there is the main cannon is kind of pushing me away from S tier here. The stunt is good, but not the best. The ultimate's really good. I'm going to A tier mainly because of the stat boost from being an S grade, but otherwise not the most impressive. All right, next up we got Tom the Crusher, a.k.a. Tom the Cat, for those of you who have watched Tom and Jerry, and I know that, for some of the younger folks out there, maybe less of you, although hopefully it's not less of you. All right, what do we got? Ultimate. Transforms his aircraft into a bellows and gains invulnerability. Continually pulls trash from off-screen towards Tom, with trash dealing damage to enemies and clearing projectiles on contact. Special objects deal an additional 50% damage. Maximum capacity 20 normal objects and 10 special objects. All right, interesting. So that's a ultimate that lasts a long time. Not bad. Main cannon fires marbles that travel in a straight line and explode on hit. So that's kind of similar to the main cannon that Scott's working with, but a little more powerful. Stunt throws a penetrating dumbbell forward that for each pink projectile, each dumbbell flies forward, then drops vertically to strike and damage enemies again. All right, so each projectile here essentially hits, it fires twice, essentially, upwards and downwards, and penetrates through an unlimited number of enemies and can deal damage twice. So this is a really advantageous stunt to have. Very advantageous. Passive. Deploys TNT-1 in front of aircraft every 8 seconds. Up to 5 can exist at the same time. Each time the stunt damages an enemy, the deployment cooldown is released by 0.5 seconds. It explodes when enemies enter its range or after 8 seconds, dealing damage to enemies in the area. And as you can see by the video, that's a lot of range. Yeah, Tom is absolutely an S tier. That is an excellent set of attacks. And right now, preliminarily, we're going to take a look at Jerry in a second, but right now I'm saying that you should be using your gems and your skyward summons to try to get Tom. if you're going to try to get somebody, just based on practical purposes. All right. What's next? Obviously, Jerry. So let's see what Jerry's working with. Ultimate, invulnerability, drops 6 light bulbs in sequence onto the battlefield. Boom, boom. Each bulb deals area of effect damage and clears out enemy projectiles. All right, so that one's pretty comedic, like the cartoons. I would say as far as effectiveness, it's about mid-range. Not bad, though. The main cannon fires 2 olive pits that travel in a straight line, dealing damage to enemies on hit. So, yay, another main cannon that just fires forward. Decent enough, I guess. But a little higher attack to start with because it's 2 and not 1. The stunt throws a cream pie forward that deals damage to the first enemy hit. The cream then continues flying to damage enemies in its path. All right, so kind of a partial penetration there, but not the best one. Passive skill. Jerry gains 1 fruit projectile for every 3 pink projectiles absorbed. When ultimate energy is not full and at least 1 is available, a fruit button replaces the ultimate button. Tapping it throws the displayed fruit at the nearest enemy. Each fruit can damage up to 2 targets. Jerry doesn't gain ultimate energy automatically, but each fruit thrown restores 20% ultimate energy. And there's stats for different types of fruit. Cherry, double, apple, triple, watermelon, quadruple. So potential for a lot of damage there, but the splash damage is not the best. Overall, I think I'm giving Jerry an A- tier here. All right, next up we got Amelia. We got, let's check. She's a grade. We got Thunder Rend. Charges energy to fire a giant laser beam that continuously deals damage and clears enemy projectiles for 5 seconds. Can move while you're firing. Okay, I really like this one because you got the 5 seconds is a lot. So you've got the potential for as much splash damage as you want or as much DPS damage to one strong enemy like a boss as you want. That ultimate is already one of my favorites, if not my favorite. Now, the stats are a little bit low here compared to some other characters. The stats are slightly low, but I already like that ultimate. Main cannon fires an accelerating electromagnetic projectile that deploys an electric trap on hit, continuously dealing damage. So I do like the continuous damage potential there. All right, so that main cannon is excellent because of damage over time. And the stunt fires 2 lasers forward that continuously deal damage to enemies in range. Laser duration scales with the number of pink projectiles absorbed. So the more pink projectiles, the more lasers you fire. I like this stunt too. So that's 3 out of 3 skills that I really freaking like here that give you a massive advantage. Because of this, Amelia is absolutely S tier and quite possibly above Jerry. Despite being an A grade, she is absolutely S tier. And now we got Charlie. So Charlie and his ghost dog, I guess. Let's take a look at his ultimate. Oh, his stats are not that high, actually. So his attack power is a little low. His hit points are higher, though. Ultimate blows a whistle to summon 10 ghost hounds that charge forward, dealing damage to enemies in their path. All right, that's decent. So that should clear the screen. Main cannon fires baseball projectiles in a straight line. Now, as much as I am partial to baseball and to firing baseball projectiles, that's just another forward cannon attack with no bells or whistles to it. And the stunt, Phantom Frisbee, throws a frisbee that curves like a boomerang. It bounces once to the nearby enemy upon a hit. All right. So that one I actually really like because one frisbee can damage multiple enemies, and as you can see by watching the video, take a look. The first frisbee thrown smokes all of them. So the every frisbee after that is superfluous. So the ultimate and the main cannon are not impressing me, but the stunt is one of the best, is the best or the second best stunt out of all the pilots. So that's really, really, really good. I can't give S tier based off of a stunt alone, though. So with Charlie, I am going to have to go A minus tier. Great stunt, decent ultimate, decent cannon. All right, that concludes the list of all 10 pilots and their tier list. Which pilot is the best one? That, to me, is a tie. That is a tie between S tier Tom, S grade Tom and A grade Amelia. Yes, A grade Amelia's ultimate, main cannon, and stunt are that good to where I consider... Sorry, I lost my earbud there. To where I consider her one of the best pilots in the entire game. So if you've got Amelia, and she should be pretty easy to get based on the fact that A grades are an easier summon than S grades. If you got her, put her in your regular rotation. Point blank period. All right, this is Game Hydro. Thank you for watching. This is ACECRAFT Sky Heroes. Please like and subscribe. Check out our other content and tell us what other content you'd like to see us do based on this game. All right, catch you later.